There was nothing I love more than filming the back of someone's head or someone endlessly doing mind maps while they tried to work out clues to find buried treasure. And if anyone was going to find anything, it would be Sean, the master of finding things. We'd already had a dragon and nearly a crown, and this time it was an acorn. Which sounds a bit pathetic at first, but this was no ordinary acorn. It was actually made of solid gold and set in a solid silver ornate case, and was hidden in a chest somewhere in the UK. The artist that hid it had made a bunch of mysterious videos online which contained clues and riddles about how to find it. All you had to do was study every image and every word in the films to work it out, and then the acorn would be yours. And Sean had narrowed down the search area to the southwest of England, more specifically somewhere along the St Michael's ley line, which was a pretty big area, but luckily Sean had a few more hunches that might narrow it down. So he needed a skivvy who lived nearby to go and check some of these places out. So I soon found myself in the middle of nowhere looking for a druid's chair and a place called the Munnacuddle Well. So I double checked it wasn't April Fool's Day and hit the road. Hiya, is the Munnacuddle Well round here?
Is that what?
The Munnacuddle Well?
I've not heard of that.
Oh really?
No. Oh, right.
It wasn't a great start. If he'd never heard of the Munnacuddle Well, then I definitely wasn't asking him about where I could find a druid's chair, which I guess was some kind of rock formation.
Right. Well, ain't that bridge. And it can't be that bench.
I even suspected the waterfall could be known as the druid's chair, but luckily there was an information point, and the place was actually called the Munnacuddle Well, and even had a druid's chair marked on the map.
Key, druid's chair, number 11. Oh, I walked right past it.
The druid's chair turned out to be a chair-looking thing that I'd walked straight past, twice.
There it is. The druid's chair. Well, it certainly looks like a rainbow arch.
And one of the clues in the hunt was a rainbow arch, and that rainbow arch would lead you straight to it. So I tried sitting down in it to see which way it forced you to look.
And if you sit here and look directly, literally like that, that is the line.
There we go, solution done. The golden acorn must have been hidden in that wall. All I needed to do was go get it. I was picturing it in my mind, manifesting it on the walk over the bridge. However, en route I realised two things. A, I couldn't start just pulling rocks willy-nilly out of this ancient wall next to a holy spring. And B, nobody in their right mind would hide something in full view of a road, paths, car park and all sorts. So I reported back to Sean that the druid's chair was mega comfy and the Munnacuddle Well was a no-go for treasure. Basically, the summary was, Sean was looking for a spot that was something to do with a rainbow arch on this line. It was a right needle in a haystack. So I carried on checking out Sean's hunches and looking for arches.
That dam looks pretty archy.
And scouring areas for clues.
Nope, nothing in there. Nothing in there. This is like a T. Oh no, it's a cross.
But I realised that it was totally lame for me to be wandering around the countryside on my own, so I needed to A, call in some expert help, and B, totally up my street cred.
Right.
So I ended up dragging my parents along to suss out the next spot. I managed to prise my dad away from watching horse racing.
Oh, yeah.
And my mum was just happy to get out of the house. And they were mega keen to see the latest arch idea.
Yeah, good.
You see that arch on the top of that rock?
Yep.
On a certain day of the year, the sun casts a shadow down on the ground over there somewhere.
Yeah.
So we need to suss out the area, see if it's any good to bury treasure.
There's houses everywhere looking at you.
Yeah. And there's like a dog walker over there.
Yeah, there's the trees. That's the area and the edge. Definitely.
Yeah, but the trouble is, what I don't think he anticipated is that it would be so like littered and look so rank. Nobody in their right mind is going to bury a treasure next to a football pitch.
What's that?
That's just stones. Sean said it's 50 centimetres beneath the ground.
Yeah.
So therefore, unless you know exactly where to dig, you'd end up digging your own trench 50 centimetres below the ground.
That's it, you'd have to dig a trench all along.
Yeah, but that's the point of the whole thing. That's not how treasure hunts work. You're not supposed to dig out fucking loads of it. You're supposed to go exactly to the spot. There should be something that indicates where it is. Like, for example, I'll show you this. That mossy stick points to an exact spot. I mean, obviously it's not that, but...
The cool looking window in the rock site turned out to be another total dud. There was no way we were going to find anything without more clues. Arcs in dams, arcs in chairs. You end up seeing arcs everywhere you look. When I dug up the golden dragon for Sean, treasure hunting seemed pretty straightforward, and he thought I was a lucky charm. However, it seemed like all that luck had worn off on all the tracks and bushes I'd been scurrying up since. So, after a load of dud spots, a comfy druid's chair, and still no sight of the golden acorn, Sean emailed me with a new spot and a new clue.
Brilliant.
I excitedly broke the news to Mum and Dad and built a GoPro into my throat so I wouldn't have to worry about filming and I could still capture all the action.
You need petrol.
I will need petrol at some point, yeah.
Double points on petrol.
Yeah, we'll
Mum had a voucher for double points on petrol, so we were winning straight out of the gate. Well, not totally winning, but anyway.
Is this serious? When we go there, we should approach the site, walking like normal tourists. And then when we get there, we should have an initial look. Don't go getting the trowel out, Dad, straight away.
I shouldn't get nothing out.
Do you know what I mean? And don't talk about digging and stuff, just in case.
Making noises like a chicken.
We were still on the St Michael's ley line, and we were still looking for an ark. But this time we had other clues to help. We were looking for a well, and we had to keep our eyes peeled for a unicorn on a hill and some kind of elephant, and a stone rainbow about 80 centimetres long. If we found all this, it would confirm it was the right place.
Listen, I was brought up navigating. You weren't allowed to sit in the back and read a book. Dad would always be asking you questions. What could you see? And where's this road? What's the number of this road? And
That's good.
oh, it is good, yes.
Now this is it. Right, keep your eyes peeled for all that stuff.
I followed Sean's directions and managed to follow the map to a right nook in the corner of a field.
Ow.
It was mega overgrown and miles from anywhere.
Whoa. Well, that looks like an old well. Where the hell? That looks like a unicorn. Well, maybe a donkey or something. Now this gate has got a very weird crevice in it. Dad!
Mum and Dad were dawdling around at the back, looking at plants,
God's sake,
while I was
dear.
sniffing out the golden acorn like an absolute bloodhound.
Dad! Coming out of sight quick before anyone sees.
Ask him to stand still a minute.
What?
Did you shout?
No, what?
That's elephant rhubarb.
Oh! That's elephant rhubarb.
These massive Jurassic Park looking plants turned out to be elephant rhubarb, which ticked off the elephant clue lovely, and suddenly made the donkey thing look way more unicorny, and the groove on the floor way more archy.
The unicorn,
Yeah.
the elephant rhubarb.
Yeah.
Look, stone rainbow.
Yeah, but he said it was about as 80 centimetres.
That's what it is.
That is 80 centimetres. Oh my god, we need a mossy stone.
This had to be the right area, and all carnage broke loose, because all we needed to do now was find a mossy stone which had the treasure right under it.
Oh my god, there's literally stones everywhere. This doesn't even have any moss on it. These stones are tiny. Where the hell?
One here. Over the stone. A big moss covered stone. Yeah.
I'm not, can't be in there.
But that wouldn't have grown like that. In 10 years it'd have been
I can't see a moss-covered stone.
I can see it from here. See him over the brook.
No, I'm not going there first because there's a moss-covered stone there. There's a moss-covered stone here.
It's completely over.
Where, over where?
Over the water.
That's in the water. We're in the stream.
If you look up there.
There's no way I'm going in any of that scrub. It's so thick, you just get scratched to death.
Dad was managing to find the least accessible places known to man, and we basically didn't know where to look. So it was time to stop messing around and pull out the big guns. I previously built a series of mega custom-made metal detectors when we were looking for treasure buried on the beach. Some of these things could go 2 meters deep, so I decided I'll do one more trip and sweep the whole area in 2 minutes, and we'll know once and for all whether that golden acorn's there or not. I just needed to know if that donkey was a unicorn, if that groove was a rainbow, and exactly which mossy stone the treasure was hiding under. The only problem was, Sean did have a new clue, and it was not good news.
Right, I'll see you, Jean. Bye.
Right, I need to talk to you and Dad a minute.
Oh, yeah.
Right, Sean has basically worked out where he thinks the mossy stone is.
Oh, good.
Apparently the stone rainbow was pointing you in a direction, straight through this, a 10-foot high wall of brambles, with no other way round. Sean said no problem, just wear some gloves. It should be easy. So on the next sunny day, I set off with a smile on my face and made sure I had some gloves on. Got some secateurs in case I fancied doing a bit of gardening, and headed in.
Oh, God. Oh.
Once the easy bit was over, where I could stand upright, I mentally prepared for some kind of wormhole, big enough for a badger to squeeze in.
Right, down through here. Gonna be a bit rank with the rucksack on. Oh.
It was mega dense, and I was getting torn to shreds.
Now, mossy covered stone. The whole floor is covered in ivy.
To be honest, at this point, I was just going to dig under whatever stone I saw first.
That stone. The roots are a killer.
It was all pretty desperate, and I was so harassed, I forgot I even had my metal detector.
Oh my God.
That weird groaning noise is my contraption saying there was metal in the area, which got my heart racing like crazy.
Oh my God. Well, I'm digging and the ground's just given away inside, as though it's some kind of badger den. Oh, that is rank. What the hell's down there? The ground's fallen in like there's a hole. You're joking, what does that mean?
There was something deep under the stone.
Oh my God. What is that? Oh my God. If I'm not careful, I'm going to lose that down. Oh my God. Well, that is absolutely ultimate. And you know what? Just a bit further down there is a massive badger hole, and if I wobbled it a bit, it would have gone straight down that hole. I found it. No. Yeah. Fill this hole back in. Can you take it off me? You're not going to fit any potatoes in there now?
I didn't get no potatoes again. Amazing, though.
Have you got it? Where is it?
Dad's put it in his pocket.
How big is it?
We look at it in the car.
Oh yes, how big is it?
About that big?
Oh,
In my pocket.
Yeah.
There we go, the Epic Adventurers. You coming getting in, Mum? Mum's wearing a
You want to go
Makeshift.
first?
makeshift
Go on.
coat out of a bag. She was carrying all the sandwiches in.
I wasted absolutely no time in getting straight down to it. I set up a load of cameras for the big reveal, and my mum wanted to film the opening so she could prove to all of her friends that I actually found something.
Oh, what? You getting there? What did you nearly do?
Wow. Oh my God. Look at the mould in it.
Oh.
Oh, there's all furry stuff in there. Wow. Whoa.
What's that big red button?
Mum, sorry, but you're on video. There you go.
Thanks.
A golden acorn.
Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? That's solid gold.
Let's have a look.
That's a beauty, isn't it?
It is.
It was a solid gold acorn in a solid silver case,
What's that stuff on it?
I don't know, but what's in the box is real grim.
worth about 15,000 quid.
It's amazing.
Finally, I had another notch on the bedpost, and I was feeling pretty invincible. For some people, being in your late 30s and finding an acorn in the woods after several failed attempts, wriggling through 9 metres of thick brambles like a worm in the rain, with your parents stood cheerleading you on, one of them wearing a Tesco's carrier bag as a coat, is a pretty memorable point in life. And I really couldn't work out if it was a peak or a trough. Luckily, I didn't have time to think about it, because I was suddenly going around universities again, making more films about robots. It was good to keep my eye in though, and look for anything that might be able to help look for treasure. There was all sorts of stuff, like underwater explorers, looking at stuff, rubber robots powered by air, disinfecting robots, robots picking strawberries, swarming robots, tiny swarming robots, space robots, robots that could touch and feel, run around the house, and not sure. Anyway, while I was away, I called in to give Sean the golden acorn, and he was fiddling around with another robot.
Oh, it doesn't hang around, does it?
Doesn't.
It's an amazing view, isn't it? Look at that.
Sean was getting into underwater exploration with Rob. They were searching for stone heads in a river that had fallen off an old castle on the top of the hill. So I left them to it, ready for the next challenge. My trophy cabinet was basically bursting at the seams, so I got straight into the good leads folder to see what else was out there to find. And there was an email from a guy that sounded super interesting, a guy in Germany looking for Nazi gold. So I went to East Germany to meet him and his friend who was helping him. They were talking about top secret stuff and hatching a right plan. This was the first time I'd travelled to another country on my own to look for treasure with total strangers. I had no idea where we were going. And you start to wonder, maybe I should. Because everything's starting to look a bit more scary. Sinister houses, and you start wondering how fast you can run. And then we started heading to the woods, perfect for dumping bodies. And then go into a random house to pick up a saw and poles, maybe for a cage, or maybe my head was going on that pole. And we were all set for the deepest, darkest part of the woods, and then it dawned on me.
Oh, you're going to ram him into a hole and unblock something?
Stop freaking out, you're looking for treasure. And Henry and Gerhardt, as they were called, had found something mega, an old mine entrance. So I see what you mean, the water is so high.
See, this is the old wood construction.
Oh, yeah.
Now, these aren't just normal mines. In World War II, the Nazis used slate mines for bases, and at the end of the war, when they fled, they dynamited all the entrances shut so nobody could get in. And when the Allies arrived, they didn't even know where they were, so loads were left undiscovered, with who knows what inside. Maybe some of the priceless art that was never found, or the millions of gold bullion that was never recovered. Who knows? But Henry and Gerhardt were specialists in finding these things. However, the trouble with Henry was, he didn't just have one lead, he had thousands. There was no single person in the whole of Germany who had as many leads as him, and here's why. Back when the internet first started, Henry created a website asking for interesting stories about World War II. Little did he realise it was unbelievable timing, because most people involved in World War II were either going into old folks' homes or passing away, and family members were clearing out old things in the attic, looking in boxes that hadn't been opened for decades, and finding all sorts of secrets that nobody knew about. And Henry had thousands of people contacting him and showing him documents that said things like, boxes of gold were taken up this trail here, something important was buried in these woods there, train tracks mysteriously went into a cliff here. And Henry couldn't believe it, and nor could I. Well, I could, because we ended up going on a whistle-stop tour of good lead after good lead. One guy took me in his house because he wanted to show me his pet python. Then he showed us some railway tracks that disappeared into a muddy cliff. It had all gone overgrown and nobody knew about it.
That's from the train, that's for stuff that goes under the train?
Yes.
Whoa.
Then, all over the hill were vents, mysteriously under bushes and stuff.
Whoa, that is unbelievable. And nobody knows what's under there?
Then another guy took us down a cliff to another hidden mine, which I did not like.
Yeah, all good. What, through there?
I'm not really into potholing and crawling through tight spaces at the best of times, let alone when you're a kilometre underground. But I was super keen to not look like a wimp.
And on my ticket.
Oh my god, yeah. Yeah, that's okay.
And once you got through an exploded shut bit, it opened out lovely again.
Whoa.
They were finding crannies into all sorts of spaces, and it looked like there were blocked entrances everywhere.
Also ich glaube mir die 140 Meter.
Whoa, another
Das
one.
ist jetzt. Hier ist die Trockenmauer.
Dry wall.
The trouble is, when you're this far in, it's almost time to head back.
Oh, further? We're going to go further?
Nobody wants to start knocking down a mega thick wall miles under the earth. I mean, you would, if there was any indication there might be something behind it, but there were entrances everywhere. I'd never met a bunch of people more dedicated with so many leads. What these guys needed was technology, scanners and LiDAR and all sorts, so I decided I was going to help them find some.
Maybe can you poke a stick?
As my time in Germany was drawing to a close, there was a mega newsflash. Terry, Pete and Albert were looking for treasure together again, and I had missed the boat. Literally missed it. They'd gone without me. So I turned up at Poleseth Beach in Cornwall, and I thought I could see them out to sea, but I wasn't sure if it was actually them or not. I had all my camera kit and a paddleboard, and after getting wiped out by waves and totally freaked out by seals, I paddled out absolutely miles, and Albert filmed me arriving. That was me there.
Hello, William! Hello! The sun! The sun is good!
It was a horrible experience, and I was still waffling on about the seals when I arrived.
Come around this way. Shall I climb up? No, come around the stern here.
And I learned it's really hard to get off a paddleboard onto a boat.
Oh, I've got my fucking leg thing on there.
Anyway, I made it, dried off my kit, and this time I remembered my seasick tablets, so I was ready and raring to go. I didn't have a clue what was going on, but I didn't even need to ask. It was basically the same old, same old.
Oh, that's 8 years now.
8 years.
8 years.
Whoa, 8 whole years.
Albert had been looking at this spot for 8 years, and now he was finally getting to douse here in the flesh.
Yeah. Good direction.
There was supposedly something on the seafloor that was super valuable, and Terry was following his instructions which way to go.
2 miles.
2 miles.
2 miles.
2 miles.
Right, Fairyland biscuit. Oh, can I have one?
Yeah.
Just send the packet up.
There we go.
Oh, I just dropped out my tea.
Yep, thank you.
There was still the big English-French language barrier, but this trip was mainly going to be pointing and cheering victory.
Good.
It was a long 2 miles, and Albert was keeping his eye on the ball.
Oh, on the right.
Okay.
Passé.
Okay. We have just passed it.
Oh my God, we're here.
We're here. Right, put that on.
Position
Yeah,
GPS.
put it in, Pete. Put it in, the position.
Derrière maintenant.
Yeah, okay, it's going backwards. Well, when we get over it, I'm going to stop the boat. And then we want to plumb in the position.
It was all dead serious, while they made sure they got the exact coordinates.
You see? No?
C'est le jaune. Le sang là. Tu vois. Là.
Yeah, new sums you see? Yep.
Le sang fait ici, à surface. Oui.
Okay.
Avant, tu vois, après.
Yeah, this is it, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, we stop here. Stop.
And Terry and Pete started looking at the charts.
Well, most sports divers can only do 100 feet at 35 metres, which puts it well beyond the range of most sports divers. Very good. Very good position. And we don't think, nothing on our chart that shows any wrecks down here.
Terry and Pete were super intrigued because there was no known wreck down there. And Albert could relax, now he'd successfully located the treasure.
Right. We have a operation to do. Good. Very good. Okay.
Then stuff started to get real. They got the towfish out, and they were going to attach it to the massive reel at the back, and then drive backwards and forwards scanning the seabed to see what was on the bottom.
I can give you a half a mile box with lots of lines on it, if you want.
Well, if you want to go that route, it would be
Easier.
It would probably be the easiest.
Well, in case the cannons are scattered, at least it gives us a shot. Okay, I'll set it up.
Now, the big thing on everyone's mind was cannons, because when it came to scanning the bottom, cannons were super important. Let me explain why. Just ignore this black bit, that's the dead zone. Basically, you're never going to see a pirate ship like this, because all the wood has rotted away. Instead, you look for cannon, because they don't rot away, but are obviously harder to spot. But luckily, I was with the best in the business,
I'm not bothering with a GPS. We don't need it because we know where we are.
and I couldn't wait to see the scanner in action.
Okay.
Start taking in slack.
Okay.
Okay, let go. Let her out.
Ah, c'est bon.
We're not going to let any more out till you've got movement, Pete. I'll let out this bit because it's only 20. I'll just check that that's right. Don't do anything. I'll just go and check. That should be hanging around about 20 metres. 20 metres. Right. When he gets to the end, he turns round and he goes down that line, and then that line and that line. Okay. So we cover the whole box. Okay. There'll be bits of debris lying around, hopefully. You've got to hope that this picks it up.
Ooh, that looks interesting.
Terry was a fine-tuned expert at spotting stuff, whereas me and Albert kept getting excited about nothing.
Too big, strata. It's strata, rock strata.
And things were hottening up again because we were about to pass over Albert's spot.
Encore, the dowsing, encore. Yeah, because we do some trade prey. We're very close to the position. I wanted the douse to make sure he's happy. Which direction? That way, that way. I want to see it go berserk. Near here. It's a good image. If we'd see it, we'd definitely see it if there was something standing out. En plein air, c'est meilleur.
Then poor old Albert started feeling seasick and desperately started looking for his seasick tablets.
He's feeling a little queasy. Definitely crazy. Going crazy. So we should see something soon.
The rod was spinning again, which meant we were super close.
Possibility of something scattered there.
Whoa, they look like cannons.
Could be something. Could be something of interest. These bits here.
Then there were other bits popping up that looked weird.
Because they're pretty much on their own. Look, think about it. They're quite isolated. Again, possibly something. Stuff here going on, down there. 1, 2, 3. Possible cannon.
I thought there was definitely debris down there from an old ship, but I was no expert, and the search went on long into the night because Terry wanted to be totally sure there was something down there. See, I thought these were definitely cannons, but they're all pointing exactly the same way, and it's highly unlikely that they'd all end up like that on the seabed. So we decided they must just be glitches or something. It was a nice night, and everyone was mega excited about scanning the next day. Watching the towfish go out again and getting the same shot really made me think of digging on the beach, and I really hoped this was not going to be another never-ending story. Well, I suppose it did end with a JCB going on the beach, but it wasn't a happy ending.
That's fine, that's good. You get your dowser out again.
Terry! Terry!
Can you rewind it?
I like that.
Well, that is mega.
It's a very good sign. If there's an anchor there, it's an extremely good sign. That's where we're going to put down the ROV first. We find that thing and it looks like an old anchor.
Everyone was glued like nutters to the screen, and it was in a spot that had all kinds of weird shapes scattered around. And then dolphins turned up at the front of the boat to say well done. It was finally great to see Albert smile about something, and Terry was so shocked.
And I can tell you a pretty good clue that
he couldn't even get a sentence out properly.
Yeah, I think they're pretty accurate if it is old.
If this really was an anchor, the whole of Cornwall would go absolutely nuts. Last time an old anchor was found in Cornwall, people's heads were falling off, and everyone was saying it must be the Merchant Royal, a famous ship that sank carrying hundreds of millions of pounds worth of gold. Albert was already counting the gold bullion, and Terry said it looked like it was 2 or 3 metres long, which was just the right size. So it was suddenly a mad treasure fever on deck as we got the ROV out, and hoped and prayed the seabed was covered in gold. I'll upload the next episode as soon as I finish editing it, and if you're mildly interested in any of this stuff, then click subscribe to make sure you know when the next bit is out. And I did this cool little map so people can see where they are in the grand scheme of things.